And I'm Matt Hanna.
And this is Horror Hour with the Hannas.
Where horror isn't just a genre, it's a lifestyle.
And in the wise words of Bodies, 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 today's episode is a podcast about hanging out with your smartest and funniest podcast friends. So today we are joined by Andrew from the Revisionist Almanac podcast and Britt from 1001 by 1. Hey guys, welcome back to the show.
Yay! Hey. Thank you for having us. We kind of bullied you guys into having us on this specific episode, so thanks for understanding how much we needed to talk about this film.
No, it was perfect because it's not bullying when you're right, in my opinion, or when it gets results, I should say. Sometimes bullying gets results.
I've been pressuring
and the results
Hannah
were I watched a very good movie.
Oh, had you never seen this before? Oh my god, I can't wait. Oh.
Neither of us had.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, this is the first time for both of us.
Wow. We'd seen Pulse, and then we were like, why the fuck didn't we watch Cure?
You know,
and then
it's
we just
funny.
put it off.
I feel like Cure is one of those movies that a lot of people have heard about but just haven't watched. And then when you watch it, it's a whole kind of religious experience. So I can't wait to discuss that with you. Or maybe it wasn't. Who knows? And if not, wow. I wonder what movie you saw and I didn't, you know?
I watched it after sleeping on the ground outside for 3 days. So I'm like, that was my first time watching it. It was just like at a friend's with like, after sleeping on the ground, just like, I really want to go to bed now that I'm like on a sofa. So I wish I set myself up better, but even so, I still was on board. So obviously we'll get into that.
But before we get into it, I want to make sure you guys can both give plugs and tell us where to find, or tell the audience where to find you.
Great. You take lead here.
Oh, okay, great. Hey, hello. My name's Britt. I am one of the 3 co-hosts on 1001 by 1, a podcast where we take movies out of the book 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. We analyze them, we rate them, and we ultimately decide whether or not we think they should be in that book. We have a few horror episodes. Coming up, we have not coming up. By this time, they'll be out. We have The Exorcist, The Devils, and The Witch being the most recent of those. And check us out. We're nice people, and we like talking about movies. So, woohoo.
Yeah, I second what Britt said. Go check out 1001 by 1. Don't even bother with my podcast.
Oh, shush.
I'm the host over at the Revisionist Almanac, which is primarily a show that looks at the past Oscars Academy Awards ceremonies and figures out what they got right and what they got wrong. However, I'm going to be branching out a whole bunch in the next year, and I've got a ton of new stuff on the way, lots of big, exciting things, so we'll be delving into a whole new world of Rev Almanac, but you can find me on all the socials, handles Rev Almanac, find me everywhere there's a podcast, the Revisionist Almanac, check it out.
Yeah, we need more like-minded individuals on the Revisionist Almanac because Andrew's current crowd voted The Fellowship of the Ring as the winner over Mulholland Drive.
Well,
I know how Britt feels about that, and I know how I feel about that.
Whose fault that is?
Whose fault? Andrew's?
Me. That would be me.
Yeah, it is Andrew's fault. He could have chosen the right choice, which is Mulholland Drive, and I think everybody knows that, but he had to be different.
I think anyone who's seen Mulholland Drive besides Andrew, knew it was the right choice, but not enough people had seen it, and that's why Fellowship won.
Please let the record show in about 2 months from us recording this right now. I'm pretty sure we're going to have our first true horror film be declared the revised best film of its year. I'm going to be doing 1973. I'll let you figure out what movie that is.
Okay. Yeah, tracks.
I'm
very exciting.
Looking forward to this.
I should also say I do love Fellowship of the Ring. I don't want the people out there to think that that's not the case. It's a great movie.
It's stunning. It's incredible. But Mulholland Drive is a religious experience, just like Cure. So
yes, completely agree.
I've taken my lumps over it. I'm sorry, okay?
I told you I'm making a competing podcast after that episode. So
that was an amazing comment.
Yeah.
Well, so I actually got invited to go to the Philadelphia Film Festival, and one of their films that they're showing is Mulholland Drive, and I'm so fucking pumped.
Nice.
That's what's used in all of the marketing and the posters. So before they announced the lineup, I was like, okay, well, Naomi Watts' face has been plastered all over this poster. I know they're going to show this movie, and I'm so pumped.
Legit.
It better be a day where I can go.
You just have to make it work so that you can go.
Yeah, take off work.
It's true. It's true.
I would.
Britt, you've seen it on the big screen already, right?
I did. I saw it the week after David Lynch died. I saw Mulholland Drive on the big screen, and it was truly such a magical, incredible experience because everybody there, except for my best friend, had seen it and loved it, and we all were into it. And she actually really got into it too. I think she, when Billy Ray Cyrus showed up, she went, "I'm sorry, is that Billy Ray Cyrus?" really loudly, and everybody started laughing and cheering around me. It was incredible. So.
Love it.
It's perfect. You got to make it work. Just take the time off work. It's worth it. I promise.
I have concert tickets, so if it's that, I'm so sorry. I don't know if I can make it work, team. But if it's not during Cage the Elephant, I'll be there. Unfortunately,
Yes.
Cage was a lot more
Cage-
money and
yeah.
is love of my life.
That's fair.
Okay, well, we got to get into Cure, even though I could talk about Mulholland Drive all day.
I could also talk about that all day.
But, I mean, similar feelings about this movie, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. Let's see.
At least in
Let's get into
terms
it.
of being affected into my core.
Yes.
That's it, yeah,
It's
But
high
yeah,
praise.
tell us, give us some background on this one, Hannah, unless you had something else.
It's a 1997 Japanese film written and directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Britt is actually going to tell us who stars in the film.
Yeah, we're only going to do like 3 to 5 people, but Koji Yakusho is Detective Takabe. Masato Hagiwara is Kunihiko Mama. Let me try that again. Masato Hagiwara as Kunihiko Mamiya. And we have Anna Nakagawa as Fumie, Takabe's wife. Is there anybody else you want me to
I think that's good.
talk about? I think that's like, those are the 3 main people. There's
Yes.
a lot of, if I went on from that, we'd be talking about 20 people.
Yeah, I feel like those are the 3 big ones. We've nailed down our main characters here, so we can move forward.
Sure.
Thank you for giving that your most valiant effort, Britt.
I mean, I really struggled on the second one, which was one I was very confident on before, but whatever. That's what happens.
Yeah, Britt was
That's why Hannah didn't want to do it.
It's fair. Now it's when the recording starts. It's like, what do I do? Even though I can say these names, no problem otherwise.
Yeah, the panic sets in so hardcore on the mic. My anxiety disorder just be hitting sometimes, but
For sure.
so we've obviously talked up Cure quite a bit already. Just to talk it up further, it is listed among Letterboxd's top 250 horror films. In 2012, Bong Joon-ho, who we all know from Parasite, among others, listed the film as one of his favorite and greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
And I feel like I saw like a million other people put it in their list too, but he was the most notable person that I wanted to include because he's the man, so.
Well, Bong Joon-ho is a very well-known ball knower, so,
It's true.
Facts.
And I also think it's obvious that he has paid homage to this particular movie in other films that he has done. Memories of Murder, I think, does take a lot from this movie. Not in a bad way, not in like he's stealing way, but the tone of it, the way, the bleakness of that film, I think you can really bring back to something like Cure. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah. As we mentioned, Bong Joon-ho, ball knower. Obviously, Kurosawa also knows ball. Because he is obviously known as a very influential director. He's had other like influential horror films, like we mentioned. Pulse. We had asked our icebreaker question on socials, who is your favorite horror director? So I'm going to share some of our answers. Michael Nunn author said John Carpenter. The Thing is unparalleled in my opinion, so it has to be Carpenter. Lonely Horror Club said George Romero, always and forever. Spooky Sips Podcast said Jordan Peele's got to be up there. Movie Postmortem Podcast said Wes Craven. Movie Matt Suarez said John Carpenter. Sorry, this is me not pronouncing things again. And then A Doom Scrolling said probably a toss-up between Gore Verbinski and David Bruckner, which was a really funny comment because that was the day that we were recording our episode on The Ring and like bashing
That is Gore
it.
Verbinski, yep.
So, so that was a fun shout. Do you guys have any answers that you would want to share before we get into the nitty-gritty of this movie?
Takashi Miike, for me, is probably up there. I'm a pretty big fan of the horror that he has done.
I knew Britt was going to go that direction. I'll be a basic bitch and I'll say John Carpenter. I mean, Halloween 1978 and The Thing, that's about all you need to know.
I got one. I'm going to say one that's going to get an eye roll from Hannah, but there is one director that is the greatest horror director of all time to never direct a horror movie.
Oh.
And that is who we were talking about earlier, David Lynch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, obviously,
Fair.
David Lynch, I was thinking about, but I was like,
It's an easy category, though. Best horror director that never directed horror. So,
Yeah.
you know.
But I think that depends on your definition of horror, because I think that
for sure.
there's definitely a place where Lost Highway could be a horror film.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I've talked about covering that on this show a ton of times.
I can't wait to come back for the Lost Highway episode.
Yeah, if we count that as horror, I would. I always thought the closest to horror was Fire Walk with Me, but
I'm glad to come back for that one too. Thank you so much for
I
the
would love
invitation.
to. Well, Britt, we already
feel
talked
like-
about doing an offshoot show of just Twin Peaks, so, you know.
Yeah, and I'm in. Like, when are we starting
Yeah.
that? Come on.
Well, also, Eraserhead, I feel like, has some iconic body horror
yeah.
elements too. So,
All right,
As a
topic with
father, I
Lynch
can
again, I'm
confirm
sorry.
it's horror. It's horror.
It's all
yes, agree. Okay, but Cure. That is what we are talking about today.
I do feel bad.
Sure.
We're getting off track when this is like a very good movie.
This is what we
Super
do every
good
time we pod, Matt.
I know.
It's true.
Well, and I'm the tangent queen. Let's remember that. I love a tangent. So
That's why Matt texted me and was like, "Do you have an icebreaker for them?" And I was like, "No, we don't need one. We will chat."
I like to tangent when I don't like the movie, though, more. Where it's this one's like, I got things to say. You know, we all do.
I tangent no matter what. That's just how my brain works.
I was going to
get
say,
it.
some of our brains just be doing that.
Yeah. I get it.
You and me, Hannah.
So let's talk real quick about our experience with this film. So as we stated, this is Matt and my first time watching the movie. I'm guessing you guys have seen this film multiple times prior to now.
Yeah. I've probably seen it about 10 times at this point, including the like 3 rewatches I did for this episode. But I really enjoy this film. I found it after I watched Pulse, and it just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite of you on that, Britt, because I had heard about it for a number of years and I'd never had the chance to really get around to it. And it wasn't until 2023 that I saw it for the first time, and it captivated me. And then I recently picked up the Criterion Blu-ray because I was like, I got to own this thing. And I've watched it 4 times in the last like week and a half since we've been prepping for this. And each time it just like, it peels more back like an onion. There's just layer upon layer that I'm finding every time I go back to it. So it's one that's going to live with me forever, I'm sure.
I feel that. And I think since having watched it, I just keep thinking about it more and more and more. And I feel like I like it every minute more and more because there just is so much to think about. There's so, like you said, there are so many layers to this film. So it's definitely going to be a fun conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into some spoilers. We are going to start with our 15-second summaries. Matt,
Oh, don't look at me. I'll pull up the timer, though. I'm not ready.
bitch.
Someone else. Who's ready?
I'm
I'll
ready.
go.
I'm ready.
Oh, everyone's
Go,
ready for
Andrew.
me. All right, ready, Andrew? You go now.
In an effort to understand a series of grisly murders, Detective Takabe must track a mysterious figure with seemingly supernatural powers while also grappling with his inability to connect with his wife, the distance in their relationship feeling as vast as the ocean that surrounds the island of Japan.
There we go.
Oh, shit.
You're 1 second over, but I'll give it to you.
Made out that ahead of time.
I'll go last. I got nothing.
I'll go next.
Okay, you ready?
Mine is nowhere near as complete as Andrew's, but I like it anyway.
That's fine. You ready? Go ahead.
Yes. If mesmerism and psychic abilities were real, I wouldn't want to meet Mamiya on the beach or on the street or on the roof. But for Detective Takabe, it brings him inner peace at the cost of those around him.
Oh, snap.
Yikes.
That sounded like a
that
dark
night-
Dr. Seuss rhyme.
It really did. It was so giving. On a train, on a plane, I do not want green eggs and ham. Okay.
All right, Hannah, you ready? Go.
Cure shows us that the real horror is having a conversation with someone who's really not processing a single thing you have to say. We had 2 good serious ones, so here I am.
No, I got one.
Okay.
I'll bring us around. You ready?
Okay.
Why my tummy hurt.
True.
That's all I got.
But legit, so...
Yeah, valid.
I love the way Matt comes into prep every time. This is amazing.
This is how I get the best content that way.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know how Matt's brain does what Matt's brain be doing. I certainly couldn't be me.
Oh, I did some prep, but like I sometimes with 15-second summaries, my best ones are when it's just whatever's on the mind at the moment.
Yeah.
There you go.
It really depends for me.
All right, and now for our full plot description. So, Kenichi Takabe, a Tokyo detective, is involved in the investigation of a bizarre series of violent killings by seemingly random perpetrators. In each case, the murderers have been caught close to the scene of the crime, and the victim is found with a large X carved into their neck or chest. Although all of the perpetrators readily confess and remember their deeds, none seem to have substantial motives or explanations for their actions. Takabe is at a loss for answers, and his private life begins to falter as his wife Fumi suffers from schizophrenia and frequently gets lost in their neighborhood. Takabe and his colleague, forensic psychologist Shin Sakuma, eventually identify a common thread connecting the murders. Each killer, shortly before their killing, came into contact with a man named Kunio Mamiya. Mamiya appears to have extreme short-term memory loss and claims to recall nothing of his past. Searching through Mamiya's belongings, Takabe and Sakuma discover that Mamiya used to study psychology, specifically hypnosis. Takabe suspects the Mamiya has no memory problems at all and is actually a master of hypnosis capable of planting homicidal suggestions in strangers' minds. In custody, Mamiya constantly evades Takabe's questions, instead asking about Takabe's private life until Takabe eventually lashes out, shouting his resentment for Fumi. Takabe has Mamiya charged with incitement to murder. Takabe also experiences a vision of Fumi hanging herself, and later he commits her into a mental hospital. Sakuma shows Takabe a videotape featuring a mysterious man speculated to be the originator of Japanese mesmerism. In the video, a subject is hypnotized by a man who gestures an X in midair. The woman later kills her son in a manner similar to the crimes they are investigating. Sakuma believes the crimes have a connection to the past and describes Mamiya as a missionary inciting others to commit ceremonial murders. Subsequently, Sakuma unconsciously draws an X in black paint on his wall and starts to experience hallucinations of Takabe menacingly cornering him. Several days later, the police discover Sakuma's body handcuffed to a pipe in his home and conclude that he committed suicide. Mamiya escapes from prison, killing a policeman in the process. Takabe tracks him to the deserted building and shoots him. Before dying, Mamiya draws an X in air in front of Takabe. Exploring the building, Takabe finds and plays an old phonograph cylinder containing a recording of a male voice repeating what seems to be hypnotic instructions. Shortly after, Fumi's already decomposed corpse is found by a nurse with an X savagely carved into her throat. In a restaurant, a waitress serves Takabe, walks away, is whispered to by several staff members, and silently draws a knife. And that's the end of our movie.
Fantastic job, Matt. I'm really impressed with that summary. You did such a good job reading it.
Thank you. You were very complimentary last time we recorded too, so I appreciate
Oh yeah,
it.
it's what I'll do now going forward. Don't worry.
Okay, so let's just jump into this bitch now that we have our summary out.
Yeah.
It's a horror movie, so I'm
yeah.
just going to start with the obvious question. Is this movie scary?
If you're coming to me, yes. Quite scary for a lot of different reasons.
Can you elaborate?
Fine. I find on surface, most of the scares are very much come from a slow burn buildup and from having knowledge that a combination of having like too much knowledge and not enough knowledge. Does that make sense? We know what the character is getting themselves into, but yet we don't fully understand who our villain is and how they're able to do what they can do, which puts you in a really confusing situation that just kind of leaves you full of dread the entire movie. That's the best way I could put it.
See, And I would agree with that, but I don't think that we should use the word scary for all horror movies. I think that sets up an expectation that it's going to be scary in the moment. And for me, this movie isn't really scary in the moment, but it is dread-inducing and it is disturbing. And that's what makes it scary. It's how it sits with me after being enveloped in this world of just disturbing imagery and psychic connections and mesmerism. Though I will say that, because this is spoilers, right? Like, we're good.
Yes.
Yeah.
His wife at the end, I'm just jumping ahead, but his wife, that shot always scares me. I'm always like, yes, I love this so much. It's like my favorite shot of the film. But yeah, no, I find it scary after the fact. I don't feel scared while I'm watching it, but I do feel uncomfortable. I have a pit in my stomach. I feel like, oh my God, what are we doing here? Why do I have to sit in this? And I choose to sit in it because it's what I like to do.
Me too.
And I think you bring up kind of the age-old question when talking about horror movies is like, what is scary? What encapsulates a fear? And obviously that's going to be very different for different people, and like what a horror movie is trying to achieve is going to be different from film to film, director to a director. Some of them really are striving to make you feel uncomfortable or like your body tense up, versus other people are wanting you to scream out loud. Like, obviously every project is different. I'd say this is scary in the unsettling way. I definitely felt like tension, chest pain kind of fear, where I was like, what in the fuck is going to happen now?
Would you say your tummy hurt?
My tummy did hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, I would share the sentiments. I'm glad we're all kind of on the same page with dread being the main word that it evokes the sense. And I think on the criterion I have, there's a really great interview with Kiyoshi Kurosawa talking with Ryusuke Hamaguchi, who's sort of a protege director of his.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how the movie has this great ability to not really have a line of distinction between when it's normal life and then all of a sudden something really terrible happens. And it sort of sets the stage from that very first scene and the very first kill, where you're always kind of on edge from that point on, because you never know how one normal thing's going to lead to one thing that's really gruesome. And it's just that constant, like, you're sort of white knuckling your couch the whole time or wherever you're watching, because you never know when it's going to turn on a dime, which it does often.
Yeah, I totally can see that. I think with a lot of horror movies, there's a formula to it, right? We kind of can tell when a jump scare is coming. We can tell when something's supposed to be frightening, when something's supposed to make you uncomfortable. And with this movie, it's unsettling because of the normality of most of the things we see. We stay in conversations way too long until it gets to the most interesting part, and they'll cut to the next thing. We can't really tell if what we're seeing is real or not, even though they're all doing the same mundane things. And I think that's where the horror comes from in this particular movie. We can't figure it out. And that is why it's such a strong horror movie.
You make a good point about like not being able to figure it out, which is kind of what I was getting at earlier, is that it's like we know more than the main character does, but we still don't know enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we're watching him and it's like, I see that lighter get lit and I'm screaming no at the TV because I've seen what that can do, but yet I don't fully comprehend.
Yeah, like we don't actually understand what the lighter is contributing to the mesmerism.
It's like a weird like liminal space. Mind liminal space.
It really is. And like Kiyoshi Kurosawa has talked about how in his movies, he likes to tell the audience exactly what they would know. He's not going to hide those things because he wants he's not going to explain everything out. So the things that we should know are given to us. Like, we know who the killer is basically, 15 minutes into this movie, because we need to know that. We should know who this is to follow the story, but he doesn't give us anything else. We don't really know his motivations other than he's following a mesmerism from the 1800s, and he's doing this for some purpose, but we really don't know what that purpose is. He's not going to spoon feed us every single thing, and that's what makes us so uncomfortable in this movie. We can't predict what's happening.
Yeah, I would also say I really like your point about the mundane and how anything could be a moment of like hypnosis, and any action can be that. So you're just left wondering anytime the killer's on screen, you're just like, okay, what could he be doing now? And it gets even scarier once you realize he's like tapping into Tabake's. I said that wrong. See, now I can't pronounce. Our lead detective Psyche, and they're like communicating on some other plane, basically.
Yeah.
And that is like when those surrealist moments happen, and the blend from real life into surrealism is very quick to the point where you're kind of caught off guard and you're not really sure what you're in. And I think it's because there's a lot of pre-work and a lot of groundwork laid to like allow those crazy moments to happen where it's kind of like stacked upon throughout the whole movie. But yeah, just really, really good filmmaking overall with this one. Andrew, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I was also kind of thinking about Kurosawa was talking about like what influenced him in this movie, and if you go back to the 90s, obviously the big seminal sort of horror film from that time that kind of dabbled in horror but was also more dramatic is The Silence of the Lambs. And there are some obvious mirrors and parallels to this movie and that movie, which Kurosawa said he was pulling on in terms of, sort of Takabe sort of acting like the Clarice Starling character, and then Mamiya's sort of like the Hannibal Lecter. And it's this idea of this sort of push and pull between these two characters and where they're kind of each dragging each other through the film. And so once I heard him articulate that The Silence of the Lambs was sort of a pretty predominant influence on him, I thought, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I started to kind of put the two side by side and could stack them up and see there's a lot of similarities between the two in terms of the way they walk that line between horror and just sort of like a police procedural to a large degree.
Oh,
I completely see that.
And he's also said in interviews, too, if I'm not mistaken, that this is really heavily inspired by Seven as well. And I think you can see a whole ton of parallels, partially just like tonally, the way the film like looks, the cinematography. I think there's like a lot of similarities, but then of course, and like its central premise, while this is definitely more like psychological and surrealist at points, obviously there is like a similar plot threads running through the film too.
Yeah, I can see that. I've listened to a lot of people who like to compare those two, and I think it's a detriment to both almost, because while there's in a similar area, they both are telling us two very, very different stories. One is giving us all of the information, like absolutely every single thing that they want to tell us, they will tell us in Seven, which I think is what makes it so successful. And Seven does have an ending, right? It might not be a super nice ending, but it is wrapped up at the end. Whereas I feel like in this movie, we watch the protagonist become the antagonist, and it opens up an entire new world where from my perspective, Takabe has become the new Mamiya. Like, he is going to continue on with this journey, and we just are not going to be privy to that journey. And that's really fascinating to me. I love the fact that this is so open-ended. It makes it even scarier to me, because I'm like, oh, is this person sitting next to me on the bus? Is this this person feels like they could be out in the world, if mesmerism was a real thing and psychics were a real thing and all of that kind of stuff, right? You just kind of have to accept that if you're going to get into this movie.
I feel the same way about the ending in this film. I feel like that it's a great film, obviously, overall, but the ending made me gasp literally out loud. I completely agree that I think Takabe is essentially becoming the new quote-unquote missionary, and I think there are like seeds throughout that is going to happen. Like, for example, when he's the only other person who like takes the lighter and like lights the lighter, like I think there are like little clues here or there, and he's the one who has the primary connection with
the killer.
Yep, the killer.
Mamiya.
I wrote it down.
However we say it.
Mamiya.
Yeah, I wrote
It's now our
-ah.
It's the name that I cannot say anymore because I stumbled on it earlier. So I'm just like, yeah, killer.
Yes, I think that's fair. I think we can just call him the killer. But yeah, I thought that scene, especially at the end, like is one of those scenes that really does like take your breath away. I feel like it is the perfect conclusion to this film and what this film is trying to say. And I love a movie with like a more ambiguous ending. And I don't know if the interpretation of him becoming the new missionary, so to speak, is that ambiguous, but I think like the what comes next, like you said, obviously is. What does this mean for this world, for this town, for everyone?
I've talked about the endings of movies making me levitate out of my seat. The ending of this movie made me sink through the floor. and, like, in a good way.
Yeah, and what's amazing is Kurosawa had mentioned in the interview on the Blu-ray I have that actually wasn't the original ending he had planned, and it worked out very fortuitously that it is the ending they went with. But the original ending that he had thought of when he put together the screenplay was it was going to end with Takabe roaming the beach, sort of mirroring what happened with Mamiya the first time we see him. And that would have been an interesting, kind of cool, like full circle ending. But I think the ambiguity of what we actually get in the final product is significantly more disturbing and lingers with you about the idea of like Britt said, that the person sitting next to you, you never know what could just like set them off to do something at the drop of a hat. It's just really uncomfortable to leave you in that it sort of reminds me of like Michael Haneke films where the endings just sort of end and there's not a resolution and you're sort of left to like unpack it on your own time and process it, and that bothers me, but it's also the kind of stuff that I love about cinema.
Yeah, me too.
I completely agree that this ending is like appeals to me quite a bit more than the beach ending. I also I think I read somewhere that they might have filmed the waitress killing somebody before it cuts to credits, or in some iteration of the script that was to be shown at the end of the movie. And I'm also really glad that they left that out, because I think it's pretty evident that is what is going to happen. I mean, she's picking up this giant knife, but I like the bit of ambiguity that we're left with her as well.
I can see it today, like made in today's standards of
they
like,
would have kept all of the shit.
You hear the scene happens, woman runs over, we get a gratuitous like up close stabbing shot, cut to black, What I've Done by Linkin Park plays over the credits.
I mean,
Not Linkin
that does
Park.
sound incredible. Yes, always Linkin Park. I think that's great. I actually love this ending even more now because, and this is something I'm just thinking about right now, but I think that the reason it ends where it does is because throughout this entire movie, Takabe is trying to find connection, right? One of his biggest issues is that he is so isolated from everything and everyone due to his circumstances. And at the end, the fact that we don't see what happens, it's kind of like he is telling the audience, I no longer need you to see my story because I am perfectly content with where I'm at. And that is fascinating to me, that they allowed the main character to be like, and you're out now. You're done. Please stop watching this because you're no longer included.
It's like the ending of The Sopranos.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Like kind of similarly gut-wrenching, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I do want to, I love talking about this ending, but I want to rewind a little bit because
Yes,
after, I will say, watching this and thinking about it after, this might be hyperbole, but I feel like I have not seen a slow burn like perfected as much as this one had, because like you are drip fed what you need to know. And like there are moments that are so procedural that I think Hannah saying being not sleep deprived of watching it, she was like, okay, like, are we going to move with this? And it's like kind of really crawls, but I think it's almost like perfection in the way it crawls. Do you guys feel similar? Do you have any problems with that pace?
I actually, like, despite being a tired, cranky guy, I don't think I actually had any problem with the pace, but I think this movie, like, starts off with, like, an incredible introduction.
100%.
So I think you're immediately hooked in. Like, yeah, maybe you do or don't have the attention span for the pace that it remains at, but I think because the introduction is so great and it's filmed in such an interesting way as well, that like there was no reality in which I wasn't gonna be locked in for a while. I think early in the film, there are just so many like interesting shots, even if you just like take away the actual what is happening of, you know, finding body and then the man being naked in like the hallway and all of that shit that's like objectively very interesting. Just the way it's shot with, there's like a lot of shots through doorways that I just found so compelling and that is used throughout the film. And there's this really interesting music in the beginning of the film that's like really like upbeat.
The whole movie has great music.
It's like a Wes Anderson movie to start off.
Yeah,
It really is.
It's so like peppy while this man is doing a murder. It was so interesting and compelling right from moment one. So even if the pacing like
I think the pacing's perfect.
I think
I'm
it's
just saying.
but like it is slow.
It's like they're you get that IV drip of dread that's slowly getting opened more and more.
And I think maybe if the intro wasn't so compelling, it would have been harder. But because it is, I was like, all right, man, I'm in.
Yeah.
Do whatever you must.
I think a lot of that does ride on Koji Yakusho because that opening is amazing. With I believe the song's called something like, I don't want to say it's Animal Mesmerism, but it's something like that. Like, you know, whatever it's called, it's Animal something. And we see this very calculated but brutal murder. And then as soon as that happens and he does the, you know, like Lady Macbeth thing of where he can't get the blood off of him, we cut to the detective driving to the scene. And there's something about the look on his face when he is driving that you realize this man isn't okay, but he's pretending to be okay. Mm-hmm. And that rides on Takabe. If you can't get on board with Takabe, I don't think this movie will work for you. But if you can't get on board with him, like, what's wrong with you? Because Koji Yakusho is one of the best actors of his generation. Like, full stop. He's incredible. I'm obsessed with him in this movie. I think the way he walks down hallways is the best walk I've ever seen, and I don't think anybody can walk as well as him. Like, when he is booking it somewhere, I believe him every step of the way. So it's all Koji in that jacket of his that looks like it's made out of plastic.
The fashion in this
phenomenal.
movie's on point.
Sorry,
fashion,
Angela, what was that? Oh, fashion.
The fashion's on point in the whole film.
the fashion of his like detective sidekick who ends up, you know, not making it through the whole movie. I'm obsessed with every single article of clothing that man is wearing. I'm like, oh my God, those trousers, that tweed jacket, the like turtleneck. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. Like the fashion in this movie is amazing, and I want everything in my wardrobe. Not
like
even
every
kidding.
single aesthetic of this film, whether it's the fashion, whether it's like the color scheme, like everything is such a vibe, dude.
Well,
it's so atmospheric
yes.
and cool.
This is, I mean, in all the words, a film noir, right? Or at least
Yes.
it's a combo. So, like, I mean, film noir is 50% style anyway, right? Complementary.
Stylish as hell.
And it meets, I mean, it meets what it, like, I'm just thinking of any other noir I've seen. Like, fashion is a big part of it. And I think, like, color is a huge part, obviously. So that's not too surprising.
Which is kind of funny in this because I feel like this is very muted, right? Like this is not a particularly colorful movie. It's colorful when it needs to be. When we need to see blood, we see blood. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's very... And I do believe that this was one of the inspirations for Silent Hill 2, just from the
Really?
Yes, 100%.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, look at the story. Look at James's
Yeah.
story in Silent Hill 2. Like, it's basically Takabe, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
the idea
no, completely.
like the dangers of stoicism and the resentment that you build up for those people around you that you love. It's not super colorful, but it is when it needs to be, and I think that's where.
I think I misspoke
yeah.
when I'm saying like color is a part of noir, because I think most noirs are muted, and that's what I mean. Like it's
Okay, perfect, great. I was like,
the
I
moments of
find
like
it
pop.
colorful.
No,
Perfect,
yeah,
yes.
no.
Yeah.
No, sorry, the Silent Hill 2 thing's really interesting because now I'm completely seeing
right?
that. This is
Well,
better, I think. But
I didn't even think about it until I was watching it again today, and my husband walked out and he looked at it and he goes, "Oh, so Silent Hill 2 is definitely based off this." And then I dove in a little bit and did some research, and I was like, "Yeah, it does look like this is probably what it was based on," which is hilarious because another Kurosawa film, Sweet Home from 1989 is what Resident Evil is basically based on. So he's just been really influential in those huge.
Well, I guess I gotta watch that
Sweet
movie.
Home. Sweet Home's fun.
That's on my watch list right now, Britt. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's weird. It was from his time when he was working in like Pinku films and the V cinema, which is like, if you don't know what Pinku films are, they're sexual like exploitation films from from Japan, mostly in like the 60s, 70s, and the 80s. And then in V cinema, which were the low budget films for television, like Ju-on, The Curse, and Ring, actually. So that's like the time that it came out in. But yeah, no, just a little Japanese movie history for you there.
No, love it.
Because it's the kind of stuff I love.
This is why you're here, Britt.
Yes.
The Pinku films are actually really fun too. So, I recommend going and looking them up. Evil Dead Trap is a really fun one if you haven't seen it.
Can confirm.
I'm pretty sure I made you watch that, didn't I?
You did. You did.
Love that.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, but off of that, though, let's talk about something other than video games because tangent.
No, this is a good one. I mean, Hannah's not in the gaming sphere as much, but
Come on, Hannah.
I just
So you're
checked
lost.
out entirely, but everyone at home who's into gaming was just so locked in, it's unreal. It just wasn't me. So I have a question for you guys, and I'm kind of jumping all over with every point that I bring up today, but how do you interpret the name of this movie? I think
I know
I
my
have a very
interpretation, but I want to hear.
solid interpretation at this point. Haven't thought it over a bit, but how do you guys interpret the name Cure?
I'm gonna sit back and let Britt go on this one.
Oh, how rude, Andrew. Okay, so Cure. Because I think of this movie really from the perspective of Takabe. I really feel like this is his story. I think of it from him, from what he's looking for. A cure to himself, a cure to loneliness, a cure to whatever it is that's internally happening with all of these people. And so for me, it's the idea of searching for something that you might not be able to find, or if you do find it, it might not be what you're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would build on that point that Britt's saying. I feel almost the same way. And there's a line that Takabe uses when he's kind of interrogating Mamiya, but they're having a conversation. He's getting more and more upset, and he says, "Lunatics like you have it easy, while citizens like me go through hell." And it's like he's trying to like get out of this position he's in. And I think it's really fascinating that there's two scenes at the restaurant. The first time he's at the restaurant's a little bit earlier in the movie, and he doesn't touch any of his food, and he seems like he's too in his own head about all of his anxieties and everything that's going on. And then you get to that final scene, and he's cleared his plate. He's got no more stress in his life. His wife is now deceased. It's like this really disturbing idea of he's cured himself of whatever's ailing him, but is at what cost? It's like that kind of thing. At what cost did he cure the problems in his own head that he's been battling the whole film?
And Andrew, it's not just those two scenes. It's actually throughout the whole movie that he doesn't eat until the final scene.
Okay.
I was going to comment on that because I don't think I noticed entirely that he wasn't eating. I mean, like, there were certain scenes I obviously noticed, like when his wife is feeding him raw meat, like, obviously he's not eating that. And sometimes I was like, is he just not eating that much because it's weird food made by his wife that he's like maybe doesn't trust to be cooking? So I don't think I like processed it until I was like reading up on the movie today, and I was like, you're so right, bestie. Mm-hmm. He really doesn't eat until that end scene in the diner, which is interesting. But I feel like you might be on the same page as me, Matt. So if you are, I'll let you just run with it. Did you see it as like cure for like resentment?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I maybe am being more simplistic with it.
Yeah.
But I really like the dark reading because it makes me feel sicker when I think of the title name. That the idea is that they're trying to cure their resentment because in all of the relationships, there, at least the ones that are detailed, there's a clear underlying issue between the person who ultimately kills them. And it's almost set up as if that this is what they really wanted to do all along, and that Mamiya just allowed them to like release their inhibitions, feel the rain on their skin, and and commit this act, which I don't know if I actually do believe that, but I like that reading because it's just more upsetting.
I was going to say, to that point, like, they very explicitly say, like, you can't hypnotize someone to kill someone. You can't make them do that if that's not something that they would
already wanted to do. Which is sickening.
Yeah. Well, and consider the psychiatrist that is also hypnotized, but he doesn't kill anybody. He ends up taking his own life. So I think that there is something in the idea that you know, this mesmerism he's doing, this hypnotism, he can't make anybody do something they wouldn't do. So what it's telling us, if we as the audience just point blank believe that mesmerism is real, it's magic, and it can influence people, he can only influence people into doing something that they already have in their hearts, in their souls, if you want. So that man didn't have murder in his soul, but he had other darkness that he did enact. So I think that's totally valid. Like, that's great. And I don't think it's simplistic. I think it's very real and raw, right?
It's also just gross because it's basically like, yeah, the cure to your resentment is just to kill the person you resent. Like,
oh yeah, it's
and I'm like, shit. Well, you know, that's one way to take care of business, I guess.
Very dark. But even when you think about it, like, obviously, some of the people who get murdered aren't people who they were close to, so to speak. The first victim that we see was a sex worker. So that could just mean that the man who killed just has some like resentment and hostility towards sex work. He's using the services, but that doesn't mean he can't have some sort of like resentment and hostility towards sex workers. Obviously, we have our main character and his wife.
Or just towards women in general. Sorry.
Yes, true. Or obviously our main character and his wife, we don't know if he's the one who at some point managed to go in and kill his wife because we know he resents her because he literally says it, or if maybe it was like a hospital staff member who did it because they resent their patients and their job for being frustrating.
I think it's him.
I don't know if he actually did the act, but I definitely think he either mesmerized somebody or did
that's
the
what
act.
I mean. Because if he mesmerized someone, it would have probably been like a hospital staff to do it, which would mean that they had to have had some resentment. I kind of like to believe that he did it because we know he holds so much resentment towards her, but obviously we're not shown that for a reason to like leave it up to interpretation. But
we get a little tiny bit of like seeing what people have behind them in terms of when we get the interrogation scene when the police officer who's killed his partner, and he's actually talking about hating his partner once he's in the room, and so you're starting to sort of unpack this idea that like maybe these people do have these things that they're sort of repressing inside. The one killing that stands out to me that's the most fascinating is the doctor who kills the person in the public bathroom, and I just find that to be such a chilling scene because you actually, for the first time, you really get like the full gore of what these people are doing, and I don't know, that scene just kind of stands out as a very jarring moment every time I go back to it.
I mean, she's peeling off his face, so I think that's fair for it to be a very disturbing moment within the movie. No, I also think, okay, why do we think that's the one that we see the first guy, right? But we don't see him actually. We see him hitting her in the head, but we don't see any of the knife violence. Why do you think that it's the psychiatrist that we see such violence from? But I don't know the answer, so that's just why I'm wondering.
Just from not from a thematic standpoint, but from a filmmaking perspective, that's, I believe, the first person we see I want to say we see the entire like hypnotism process.
When the guy who finds him on the beach, you see that,
most
but then
of
you
it
don't see.
After.
I'm pretty sure you see like pretty much.
Maybe it was
all
just
the
because that one was
hypnotism.
longer, and that was when we're given more information. And that's the scene where I'm like, please stop answering the questions, please, like begging her. That was just one of my guesses, though, is that's like we're given more information, or we get a longer hypnotism scene, so now we're going to actually give you the act of killing. I don't know. Yeah.
I also think
I guess we also see the guy who shoots his what's it called, but we don't linger there. the way
Yeah.
we do with her.
Yeah, hers is interesting because I'm trying to think back to like their conversation and what that entails because
Well,
I know
that's the first time we find out there's we really get the resentment idea put in our head because
what
we
does
don't
she
fully
say?
see that she's jealous of all the men that kept her down and she wanted to be a surgeon.
Okay, so this is just like her resentment for men who kept her down. So
Yes.
she's killing a random man because she just resents
Correct.
men.
Yes.
And surgeon, so peel off face.
Yeah. But she was saying, why
I
are we
mean,
showing
like-
so much more?
Why are we showing so much more? Because it's fun.
I like that interpretation. I think that's great. I also think this is the only like female we see, female presenting person in the movie. So I think there's a shock value to that as well because every other victim so far has been male. Or not victim. Well, God, it's hard to say. Every other killer victim, because they are victims of mama of the killer.
Are
I
they?
can't say
Or
his
did they want to do this
effing
all
name.
along, Britt? That's
Yeah,
the
but if
question.
But they
She wanted
wouldn't
to do
have
it all
done
along.
it
I know.
without.
I know.
Like normal people might have a passing thought of like, I want to punch my partner in the face because I'm annoyed. Normal people don't do
What are
that.
you trying to tell me?
Yeah, I don't know. But like
Sometimes
normal
you
people
get
don't
annoyed.
just do
Right.
that. So yeah, I don't think that
I
inherently means
think
that
we
they're
can just
bad.
all be in agreement that one of the main themes of this movie is just that the patriarchy harms us all. That's because that's what I kept
Amen.
thinking while I was
That's
watching
what I
this.
get from most things.
I mean, truth.
I think she's the first person we see hypnotized with water, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
That's
yeah,
true.
that is true.
Interesting.
Which was
And
yeah, I
water's-
found that so odd because I was so used to fire, and then I was like, whoa, hold the fucking phone, bro. You can do water too. Like you can only be a part of one nation. You get the fire nation or the water nation, dog.
I mean, I guess he's the Avatar. Oh no.
Yeah, he
Shit.
could be.
Well, I mean, water is an extremely powerful conduit in, like, if you're a psychic, right? It's a very, very powerful conduit. A lot of people use it for spells, for seeing things, for whatever. And it's particularly powerful in Japanese spiritualism. So I think that that's like a very, very specific to Japan itself. I think the water is definitely probably like the more powerful conduit that they can use. They also have a tendency of like when he is on the beach, it looks like he just appeared out of the water, the way he's standing. I think that's where that comes from personally.
That's a good point, and I didn't know that like culturally, so that helps inform that.
I think it also, even just outside of that, it just continues to show his power.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're like, oh, he has to have the lighter. And so from a tension standpoint, we're like, okay, like she did it. Like he doesn't have the lighter. She's going to be okay. She's answered all the questions, which stressed me out the whole time. And then, oh no, rug pull, water works too. You're fucked. And then again, I sink into the floor. So...
And then I love building on that, like later on when Takabe sort of like flips the script and he has the lighter and he's sort of thinking he's in the position of power. And then we see Mamiya sort of manifest water into that room. And,
Oh, yes.
that is such a chilling scene there. I just love the way, Mamiya has all of these sort of supernatural elements about his character.
This really is a movie that perfects shifting power dynamics and like the ebb and flow of scares basically when it comes to that shifting power dynamic, which I think really builds. That's why the dread is just so excellent throughout this whole thing.
Well, and I think it's interesting in that scene where he manifests the water and it's dripping out of the dark, disgusting hole like above, like patch above Takabe, and it starts to kind of fall onto the floor and then go into Takabe's foot, almost like it's infecting him. And then at the end of the film, after he shot the killer in the face with not blanks, apparently, they were definitely blanks. That's the one thing I was like, oh, that looks fake, but that's fine. When he's kind of walking away from everything, he's walking through the water. And I thought that was such a pivotal scene because I think it just kind of shows that he accepted what was coming to him. He was like, I've embraced what it is. I'm allowing myself to be a part of this congregation of of this killer.
Now my stomach hurts again. Because I keep picturing scenes of this movie and I'm back in it again. It's so weird. It's a good thing. This is where it's maybe a blessing and a curse to be able to be someone that can actually like visualize things in their head. Because I know not everyone can do that. Yeah. I can see this movie in my head.
I can't.
And I love it.
Shit. And what a blessing that is sometimes.
My wife can't either, and it's so confounding to me, Hannah. So yeah.
I got nothing. I have like a very full internal monologue in there, but there's like no images.
I always tell people
I'm texting my wife now to tell her.
Yeah, because I swear, like, no one else has, their brain works the way mine does. Everyone is like, yeah, I have this, like, image, and I'm like, huh? That's what you guys were able to see this entire time I was doing mindfulness meditation, and they said, picture your happy place. You guys were picturing a thing?
I got the Skyrim item screen. I can rotate that bitch around.
Same.
Oh my gosh, mine too. Mine's so vivid. But I also have a lot of, like, internal monologue, too. So, honestly, sometimes it's just a little too overwhelming to be in my brain.
Hannah's just staring off.
Tough out here. I feel like I'm missing out. I want the pictures, please.
Yeah, we're all gonna go hang out together in our head pretend place.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is good is that, like, if I could conjure images in my head, I think I'd be more scared at night when I'm going to bed after watching a scary movie. Or when I worry about E.T. for the millionth time in my life. I'm glad I can't see him in there.
I can. It's terrible.
Well, do we want to get into like themes? We kind of hit most of them already, right?
I feel like we've been talking through film analysis this whole damn time.
I agree. I was saying, are there any additional like themes we feel like we haven't hit in this movie?
Yeah, the one, and I think we've been talking about it, but I don't think that we've actually like really stated it is, and that's like the danger of religion. I really think that the danger of religion is very prevalent in this film, and how zealotry destroys not only you but the people around you. I think that's, and the original title of this movie was Evangelist. So I think that that's actually like a super important part of this movie, even if it's understated, even if because it's not religion in the way that we in the West would be used to it, I guess. But it's still, I think, a pretty prevalent theme in this movie.
Did you see why they changed the name of the film?
I am sure at some point I did, and it's just not in my head.
Yeah, they changed it because in 1995 there was a cult that launched a religiously motivated terrorist attack.
The sarin gas.
Like, we don't want to be associated with that, so we'll call this something else.
Yeah, that's a pretty fucked up thing that happened.
You're totally right about the power of religion, and I think from multiple aspects, obviously, like the control that it can have over people, but we can also look at as the ethicality of missionaries in general. Which a movie I really like, Silence, I think covers that a lot. But just in, like I was saying, in general, like we look at missionaries as, they're spreading the word of God, but then in history, they've like basically constantly just caused pain and suffering for many people. And so I think we could read it that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, I was just going to say, I also think it's the idea that people can believe that what they're doing is right based on what they believe, based on what their religion tells them, how they interpret it. So I think that our killer, Mamiya, has been breeding discontent throughout the entire movie. He's been persuading people to kill those around them, and yet he is still, I mean, he doesn't know who he is apparently, and he is confused by everything, but he's content where he's at, right? He has found peace, and the people that he is influencing haven't found peace, and he's found peace through what he believes, his religion, for lack of a better term, and it's endangering everybody else around him. I mean, I don't think Kurosawa really likes religion very much, personally, and I'm on board.
I'm on board also. Question based off something you just said. Do we think that he's actually confused?
I was going to ask Britt that same question, because I thought that was just all a ploy. Like he was just faking being confused.
I think that deep down he probably knows exactly who he is, but I think that there's people have enough capacity in themselves to choose to believe whatever they want. So I think he has probably been telling himself for so long that this is who he is and trying to forget who he was, that he genuinely believes that he forgot.
Ooh, okay.
Andrew, thoughts?
I think he has no idea who he is. I think he's just a completely empty vessel at this point.
Oh, this is fun. This is the one, I think the first thing that we've all had a little bit of different read on.
And that's what's so great about this film.
I know.
All can be
No,
correct.
for real. Because
The next time I watch it,
many
I'll
ways to
change
read it.
Exactly. The next time you watch it, you'll feel a different way about it.
Yeah, I feel like there were certain scenes of the movie where I was like looking at his facial expressions to try and see if he was like, if there was any sort of like smirk or something that would be like a giveaway. And I was like, he looks sarcastic there.
Yeah,
maybe
you're just
maybe he is fucking with them on purpose. It's a funny bit, honestly, sir. And then there'd be other scenes where I was like, he got no idea what the fuck is going on. And I truly don't know which way I lean, which is why I want to.
It's like a Rorschach test. You're seeing whatever you want to see out of his face because you're like looking for it.
It's like that scene in American Psycho where Defoe had to film it 3 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
One where he thinks very strongly one way, one where he thinks very strongly the other, and then they just kind of mixed around the takes, which is very fun.
No, I like this though. That's cool. Just to think that, and I was thinking about, I'm excited for second watch because I think the dread is going to be even kicked up a notch because I know what he's capable of.
And I think that's the interesting thing about this movie. I've watched it so many times and I think that I know exactly what's going to happen. And then I'm still surprised and shocked by certain things that I'm aware are coming up because of the way that this is shot and because of the way that this is edited. I think that Kurosawa somehow made it so that the shots are way too long and also way too short at the same time. And he knows when to cut away from something to make us feel like everything is unsettled. We never have an opportunity to feel like we've settled into the scene enough or that we understand how the scene is going to end. And that amps up every single moment. I think of when the cop shoots his partner. We sit there for a while with them to where we feel comfortable that it's not going to happen. Even though I know what's going to happen, I'm not on edge because I think we still have a little bit more time. And then he shoots him and I go, oh God, he just shot him. And I think that's one of the big strengths of this movie. And I wish more movies tried to do that because it's interesting and it makes rewatches more fun, honestly.
Yeah, and I know Britt and I kind of talked about this on the side over the last week when we were both watching it at various points, but the camera's like both distant and cold and static at sometimes, and then also other times it's really intrusive and it feels like you're witnessing things that you shouldn't have access to.
Yes.
And it's a really nice juxtaposition the way Kurosawa does it. And we haven't even talked about the sound design of this movie, which is out of this world. It's ridiculous.
There's too much other fun stuff to talk about, but I fully agree. And everything you guys are saying is just like a good reminder that, like Kurosawa is just a complete master of his craft and is in complete control of his like creative vision and like what he wants this movie to be.
It makes me embarrassed I haven't watched more of his movies, quite frankly.
To be honest, kind of hit or miss. Some of them are really, really good. Some of them I'm good and I never need to see again. Like in particular, I think everybody can skip Creepy from 2016. I don't really like that movie. And I really wanted to. There are certain films that just don't work. And I think that's the same for any director, right? You can't just hit it out of the park every single time unless you're like Glazer.
Have you seen Chime or Cloud?
I haven't seen Chime or Cloud yet. I haven't had the opportunity.
Okay.
I was going to try to before this podcast, but life got in the way.
Yeah,
I'm desperate to
relatable.
see both.
Yeah, I have both of them on my
yeah.
list, and it's hard to get Matt to watch a horror movie that we're not recording an episode on.
It can be tough. But I mean, after seeing Cure and also Pulse, like this is one I'm more likely to want to watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's tough. There's a lot of bad horror movies out there, and so sometimes when it's like, oh, do you want to check this out? It's like, no, please, no.
Yeah, but most
I
of
can't
the
do
ones,
more.
Most of the ones where I'm like, do you want to check this out? Is because I've heard
Good things. Oh, I get it.
97,000 people compliment the movie. Duh.
Well,
Okay.
eventually. We're going to watch Bone Tomahawk next. That's our...
Have you ever seen it?
No, that's the one that I want to watch really bad.
Let me
I
tell you
know
a
what
quick
to
story
expect
about that one.
going in.
Good.
Matt's mom was just visiting, and every single time we sat down to watch a movie, he was like, "Do you want to watch Bone Tomahawk?" And I was
my
like,
God.
"Why don't we watch Fantastic Four First Steps, though?" Like, I don't think we want to watch Bone Tomahawk
I
with
know
your mom, bro.
some of the stuff that happens, but I don't know. I don't think I know everything.
My husband likes horror. He doesn't like horror movies at all, but he likes a good Western, and he likes a well done film. So we were hungover one day, and I was making dinner, and he was sitting on the couch, and he goes, "Hey, this is a comedic Western. Should I put it on?" And I said, "A comedic Western with horror elements." That's what it said on Netflix. And I went, "Yeah, sure." So he starts the movie, and I'm just listening to it. And I turn around and I go, "Dude, is this Bone Tomahawk?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I paused it and I was like, "Do you know what this movie is about?" And he said, I kind of have a vague idea. So I told him certain elements of it because I wanted him to be prepared. He said, "I'll be fine." So then we watched the movie, and afterward he went, "Well, I just feel like that was totally unnecessary. He was like, "This is the bleakest comedy I've ever seen in my life." It was really
It's
good.
a one and done kind of movie.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, I've seen it 3 times, but it's also highly problematic, like super, super problematic, but it has some amazing Richard Jenkins acting. So,
Oh, yeah.
like, yeah,
You win some, you lose some. You know.
exactly.
It's got my boy Patrick Wilson in it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And David Arquette.
Yeah, there is cast of this movie. I'm just on my Patrick Wilson mental obsession right now after
After
he's
The
just
Conjuring
so
ended.
fresh in the Conjuring series.
Complete
And
opposite
I keep
of
seeing
the
a
red
picture
wine.
of him shirtless on the internet.
What was that?
Oh my gosh.
I keep seeing there's this picture of him circulating on the internet without his shirt on.
I'm sure there's more
It's a
than
different
one.
thing. It could be a lot worse.
All
I
right.
keep thinking of him in.
Hannah just looked it up.
Yeah, well, I needed to confirm.
Right.
Yeah, tell me where that is so I don't look for it.
It's just a shirtless man, Britt. You're fine. He's a cute guy. Okay.
All right, yep, sorry. That was the weirdest tangent, but I like it.
You know what? Again,
You know who you
queen.
signed up on this one. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with it.
Well, since,
I brought up Bone Tomahawk, so that's on me.
yeah, it is on you. Since
Okay.
we're talking about other films anyway, let's do a quick round of this or that to wrap this movie up, or this episode up.
This movie.
Yeah, this whole
My life is a movie for real.
Yeah, for real, for real. So I have up the Rotten Tomatoes list of best Japanese horror movies. So we're gonna do it or that, Cure or these other movies. So
Okay.
if you haven't seen it, you can just pass. I know there's probably a lot we haven't seen because we're not cultured.
Speak for yourself.
Brett and I were having a conversation about that phrase earlier, so
Yep,
I had to say
yep.
it. Okay.
I love it.
So, Cure or One Cut of the Dead?
I haven't
Cure.
seen it.
Never seen it.
Okay.
Oh, you
Cure.
guys got to see it. It's really fun, but Cure.
Okay. It has really great reviews. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I've obviously heard of it, so I am intrigued. Okay. Cure or Ring?
Cure.
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 Okay. I think we're gonna have a
Like, not even close, in my opinion.
Oh, it's close in mine. I fucking love Ring, but
There's
Cure.
a lot of nostalgia for Ring, yeah.
We're talking original Ring, right?
yeah, original
Yeah,
Ring.
we're talking
I
about
fucking
Just
the
making
love
sure.
original
Japanese
Ring.
film because we're comparing Japanese movies, Matthew.
Okay.
Because
just making
I
sure.
don't know if you guys know this, but Hiroyuki Sanada is my number 1 celebrity crush. Like, full stop. I think he's the sexiest man alive.
Okay. Interesting.
Not the guy that
Learning
played
a lot here.
Takabe?
No,
Because he was
I
a
love
good-looking
him. Takabe, Koji is a really good looking guy, but it is Hiroyuki Sanada. You ask my husband who my crush is, and he'll go, "Oh no, it's Hiroyuki Sanada, 100%." I'll watch a movie for him and then stop watching. If he's out, I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to see the rest of John Wick 4.
I've been that way. I understand. His
What's our
lowest
name?
rated movie, according to Rotten Tomatoes, is The Ring 2 with a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. R.I.P.
But he's
sir.
still hot in it, so it doesn't matter.
It's okay. It's fair. All right. Cure or House?
Ooh.
Oh.
Cure, barely.
I'm going to go House.
I hate to admit that I haven't seen House.
Yeah, we're shit.
HBO
okay.
Max, I think it's up.
It's on HBO Max, so you should watch it.
Okay.
Okay, Cure
And it's
or
like 80
Pulse?
minutes.
Oh, even better. I know I'm supposed to watch House. That's like on the list.
Yeah, it's been on our list for a while.
Writing it down. All right, Hannah asked Cure or Pulse,
Cure.
and I'm giving it to Cure.
So since I already chose House, is it House or Pulse for me?
You can just go with Cure still.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Pulse. Actually, I really am connected to Pulse.
Whoa, I really like Pulse.
Plot twist.
Pulse is
Cure for
crazy,
me.
and I really like it, and has probably one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen in my life. But
That's why. That scene is the reason why.
that scene is, that's like pants changing scary.
I showed it to my friend the other weekend, and I was like, "This is Matt's scariest horror scene," and she just like flat face,
Watched it.
unflinching, unmoving.
Did you
was like,
show it
I
on a
don't get
phone?
it. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's why. You're showing it on a phone.
You
when I
showed
haven't
me
seen
it on the
this
phone
movie.
the first time,
Yeah,
too,
and it
motherfucker.
probably give you full body goosebumps. All right, well, maybe you need to watch it for real.
Yeah. We did. I watched it
and it was scary.
in the movie with you on the TV, you dick. Okay. Last one, Cure or Audition?
Audition.
I'm going to stick
Damn.
with Cure.
Britt's picking all these other ones. She begged us to watch Cure, and now you
what
got all
the
these other
hell,
ones that
lady?
she put over it. I guess we got to watch those.
Cure is one of my favorite movies, but this is also my thing is that I just watch lots and lots and lots of Japanese horror movies. So
And we're talking Mike. It's Britt and Mike.
and we're talking. This is Mike,
I know.
y'all. This is
I
Mike
knew
and my
that
girl
one was
Asami.
Britt, you're not beating the weeb allegations. I'm sorry.
I know.
As someone who also enjoys a lot of this stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I also watch a lot of anime, so I'm in it.
I know.
hardcore in it.
We had a long talk about Ava. So
Yes, we sure did. It's so good.
Hannah's gonna watch someday. We'll
I
see.
still haven't.
Great. So is Andrew apparently, and I told him he didn't have to.
Oh, we told Andrew to watch it.
Someday. I swear someday.
Yeah, actually, it's like as a film podcaster, I actually think it's like required viewing.
It's incredible.
I get my license revoked if I don't.
Well, yeah, you're a fully licensed podcaster, right, Andrew?
That's right.
I'm just saying, like, I do think like End of Evangelion is like up there with like very important films of all time, which sounds crazy, but
Genuinely agree. No, it's not crazy. I genuinely agree. I think it's from so many different standpoints. I think it's one of the most important films that's come out of the recent times.
we're not crazy, Britt. I swear.
I haven't seen still, but I know the song because Matt played it. About
You know all the
42
songs?
songs in 42 times in a row.
Cruel
I've
Angel's
probably
Thesis.
done that too. Oh, it's the best. It's so good. I just was humming it because it's one of the best openings out there.
I will say though, I'm still Attack on Titan theme song girly.
Fine.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
But-
I go hard when the songs pop up. Matt has a
fair.
really embarrassing video of me dancing while wearing like a snuggie.
Fair.
Yeah,
Peak
season
COVID
4's war
stuff.
song.
Okay.
We listen to a lot of anime soundtracks in this household, so I fully understand. Last year, again, tangent, we can cut this, but last year, one of my best friends brought me to a laser show that was all anime openings.
Oh, I love that.
It was incredible. We had Yuri on Ice. We had we had an ending. We had Lost in Paradise, which was really amazing. It was just the coolest thing ever. But anyway,
I'd have been ready to run through a wall
right.
with all those openings. I can't sit.
They're so good. And Andrew's just
Okay.
like, one day.
I
we need
understand
to-
some of these words.
Same.
Once your kids get a little older, you sit down with them and you can watch Ava.
That's the perfect
my
opportunity.
God.
Yes.
Maybe not the movie, but the rest of it. It's iffy.
It's iffy.
Well,
Okay, but Cure.
but
Here, back to Cure.
yeah, well, do you want to rate it? Are we at the end?
I
All right,
think
let's
we're
rate
good
this
to
thing.
rate it and then hop off.
Oh, I have to look at what I gave it.
All right,
Go ahead.
Britt.
So it's really hard for me because I think as a film person, I put a lot of pressure on myself not to give really high scores for things because there are no perfect movies, right? But also life is too short to live by arbitrary rules that mean nothing. So fuck yeah, this is a 10 out of 10, baby.
Hey, love it.
Fucking love Cure. I love Cure. I think it's one of the best films out there. So I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 because I don't care.
Love that.
And I love that for you.
Thank you.
Andrew?
All right, so for people who don't know, we extended when we were going to record this by about a week, which ended up working out to my benefit because I got to watch the movie one more time. And that one additional watch allowed me to bump this up officially to a 10 out of 10.
Shit.
It's one of only... I only have 156 movies on my letterbox at a 10 out of 10 out of 8,239 logged. So rare air.
10,000.
This is
10 out of 10.
Well, if you come to me, I'm going to disappoint
Yeah.
because I have it currently at a 9 out of 10. However, I do believe that upon rewatch, it's very likely that this would bump to 10 because as I said before, I do think this would reward multiple viewings.
I love
But
that.
for whatever reason, in the moment, I was like, yeah, it's a 9. So
Well, I'm going to make everyone extra sad because I was going to say an 8.5, but please keep in mind my
you were
viewing
sleepy.
of this, I was very sleepy. So this movie deserves rewatches for sure.
Yes.
And I think talking about it, I'm like, okay, that feels slow, but
It's all right. You can
Here we are.
you can always go to 8.5, and then next time you watch it, raise it up.
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
She'll
Cool.
take leaps.
Accept.
All right. Do we want to do our -5 to +5?
Oh yeah,
scale
our
too?
-5 to +5 scale of how much you would recommend the film.
It's
Negative
not
is
It's not exactly
no.
that. It's more like if 0 is complete indifference. How do you feel? Because people feel indifferent. They don't give it a 5. It's confusing. So
well,
our
because
friend
it's
likes
like
this
Twilight is like a 5 out of 5, but it's like
scale. A Twilight,
not
it's like a +5.
a
But
10
you'd
out
probably
of
give it a 6 out of 10 movie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense to you guys, or is this confusing?
I think so. I think it
Okay,
makes
well,
sense.
it's a +5 movie for me, is what I will say.
I was gonna say I think it's a +5.
It's at least a +5, if not maybe a +10. Like, I think everybody should watch this.
Break the scale.
You can
Yeah.
you can go above 5.
Yeah, I can because I
Okay.
don't play by rules.
Absolutely +5. Get over those little 3-inch barriers of subtitles if you're somebody who doesn't think you like international films.
Hell yeah,
This
it's
is worth it.
Agreed.
Wow, our first unanimous,
Oh, that's a unanimous
+5.
+5. That's crazy.
Yes, I'm so
Yeah.
proud of us.
We liked
done it.
that because our friend was like, the 0 to 10's too arbitrary, and like it doesn't actually tell anybody how you feel about it because everyone thinks they need to rate it on the same scale. So when you go to the -5 to +5,
And
it,
I
like,
still don't know if it's still arbitrary, but like
for sure.
negative, I feel like is a tell. Is
Yes,
if you're
yeah, I
giving
think
it a
adding the
negative,
negative
it's like
helps.
don't watch that.
I like
yeah,
it.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. I think it's great.
cool. And there's nothing on the scale for indifference. I've seen movies where I was just like, I got
It's
nothing.
a movie.
Yeah, it was there.
It was a
I
thing.
watch a lot of
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that there are even films that I would give a 10 out of 10 that I would say it's a -5. I don't think anybody should watch it. Like, I can't recommend. If you find it, that's amazing, but I can't recommend this film to you.
Ooh, okay. I'd like to hear about those. I'd like that
Like, I
recommendation.
can't.
Britt will only recommend those to me in most cases.
Yeah,
Are those
like
movies
I
like on the
re-
horror iceberg, like low?
Well, I would
kind of
say it would be a
things?
movie like honestly Irreversible. I think Irreversible is a really fantastic movie. I'm not going to recommend that to you because you
Ma'am,
should
you
choose
recommended it to me. We
subject-
had a conversation about it.
Well, you're different, Hannah.
We're like,
You're
you'll love it,
different. Solo. I mean, actually, like Solid. Well, we have a lot to say about Solo. Go.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, they have an
Listen to
episode.
the
I know.
1001 by 1 episode featuring Andrew, where he watched the movie 10 times.
Too many times.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we
Not
didn't
really
tell him to
10
do
times.
that.
Come on.
Yes, you did. Don't lie.
It was close.
Andrew, I think you're gonna end up on like a list or something. For
I
that
think
one.
he did.
That's why I watch it on physical media so they can't track me.
Oh, okay.
You think they're not tracking that shit? They've got away.
Yeah, you got an Alexa in there because like
She's definitely.
I'd like to see your Amazon recommendations after Alexa heard you listen to Solo 10 times.
So much to sad. So much to sad.
All right.
All right. Well, yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. Tell us one more time where to find both of you.
Yeah, you can find our podcast at 1001 by 1 or 1001 by 1 pod at like basically anywhere that you have social media. We do TikTok, we do Blue Sky, we do Instagram, we do X, even though it's like trash. And you can find me at all of the same places. Oh, and at Letterboxd at Britsby Hobnob. Everything is probably private, but you can still send me messages and I'll say hello because I like to keep my privacy, but I also like people. So say hello and I'll give you a weird movie recommendation.
Yeah, go follow Britt. She's the coolest. Trust me.
Andrew's like my cheerleader. This is amazing. I pay him.
She does. It's true. I'm on the payroll.
Andrew set you up with us, so.
Yes, he really did.
You can find me on all the socials, literally everywhere. Rev Almanac's the handle. I'm on any podcast platform, the Revisionist Almanac. I'm on YouTube. You can watch me on video if you want to see my face and my moving hands all the time. Yeah, I'm active. I'm everywhere.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much. I think we'll sign off here. So I've been Matt Hanna.
I'm Hannah.
This is Horror at the Hannahs. And for everyone out there, stay tuned and stay scared.
Thank you for listening to Horror Hour with the Hannahs. Make sure to listen to future episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever else you can find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube, where we post episodes and shorts. You can follow us at Horror Hour with the Hannahs on TikTok and Instagram, as well as at Horror Hour on Blue Sky for more content. If you like the podcast, please follow and leave a review on your favorite podcasting app. Happy hauntings!